It's Joel.
The podcast.
Hello, everybody. I'm Alex.
And I'm Alex.
And this is our podcast,
Joel.
Welcome to episode 132 of Joel the Podcast. We're excited to be here on sailboats. Each of us on our own separate sailboat, though.
Yeah.
I hope everyone is hearing this well. We ran into some technical challenges that were entirely outside of either of our control. So we're recording this by a little bit of a different method from usual. So hopefully you can't tell. Hopefully it sounds normal, and we didn't just lose all the audio and there's no episode. Because I think that's really the only other option. It's either going to sound normal or there's going to be no episode. So
there is a third option, which is that we release my half of the audio only.
In which case, when you just saying that, the people will be like, what were the first two options?
Everybody's just like, oh no, that's what happened. All right.
So welcome to episode 132. We're excited to have you guys here. I first wanted to start the episode as usual by saying Nathan doesn't owe me $1. I actually don't remember. Do you owe me $1?
I believe I paid you $1 around the time of our last episode for the Super Bowl bet.
Yes. Okay. So I think, you don't owe me $1. We don't have any bets then at the moment, right?
Not that I remember.
Cool. If we do have a bet, send us an email. You can find our email at our website, alexandalex@joelthepodcast.github.io/alexandalex@joelthepodcast.website/index.html, and just click on one of those links there.
Just in case this episode is only my half of the audio, I'm going to throw in that our email can be found on our website, which is alexandalex@joelthepodcast.github.io/alexandalex@joelthepodcast.website/index.html. Just got to cover our bases there.
Good call.
Yeah.
So I've one of the things that I've noticed on re-listening is it's kind of funny to listen to episodes one after the other and then have us not remember something that to me happened 20 minutes ago.
Yeah.
Did we have a bet? I don't remember. I'm sure some listeners listen to this literally just listened to you make a bet 10 minutes ago.
Yeah.
So yeah, send us an email.
How far are you, by the way? I feel like I haven't listened to episodes as frequently recently. I wonder if you've caught me.
Yes, I did pass you.
Oh.
At least according to assuming you hadn't listened past to what's on the Google, what you had filled out in the episode catalog.
Yeah, wow, you did.
So I don't remember. Am I on 79, 80, something like that?
The last one you have filled out was 78.
Yeah, so I listened to 78, which was our 2-year anniversary episode, which was entertaining.
Yeah.
And if we do our next anniversary episode, it'll be interesting to go back and talk about some of the predictions that we made during that episode.
Yeah.
So it's been enjoyable. Do you have anything else to add before we get to the sports minutes?
No.
So one thing that I've gotten from listening to the old episodes, I've just gotten to the point. I think 78 was the first one where we transitioned from freeform sports time to sports minute.
Okay.
And right before that was happening, I was talking about my fantasy team every week. So I thought rather than talking about normal sports, I have a great story about my current fantasy team.
Okay.
And then we can just that can be the sports minutes for today. How does that sound?
That sounds great because the sports news that I can think of is terrible. So.
Okay, great. I am in a fantasy football league at work.
Uh-huh.
And this was not something that they did last year. I think this is the first it was like it's been done in the past, but this is like a revival of it.
Yeah.
Um, and if anyone's ever been in a work, actually, I don't know if all work leagues are like this, but I imagine a lot of them are. There's a lot of people not participating who signed up, like who, were in the league but never drafted or managed their team in any way. They just auto drafted and didn't do anything.
Yep.
Or people who managed in the beginning but then fell away. I don't really know, but there's quite a few of that. So, we got to the okay. So let me take you back to actually week. I forget what week it was, but it was like a couple months ago.
Okay.
And I'm playing someone who does not manage their team.
Yeah.
But this person was fortunate in that they haven't had any major injuries or anything like that. So their team has actually been doing decently well. And after most of the Sunday games, I have like a 90 something% chance to win the game. Like I'm ahead by like I think like 35 points or something like that. And we each have one player left going into the Sunday night game. And they are on the same team. It is the other person has Christian McCaffrey, the 49ers running back, and I have George Kittle, the 49ers tight end. And I'm like, all right, all I need is for George Kittle to score like less than 35 less than Christian McCaffrey.
Yeah.
And this was also, to note, George Kittle's first week coming off an injury. Like, previous to this game, he had been injured for several weeks. And I'm sitting there watching the game, and Kittle's doing nothing, and McCaffrey's having this great game, and it's very frustrating. I'm like, surely, it's not going to be 35 more. And as I'm watching the game, this stat comes up about how much more effective McCaffrey is when Kittle is blocking for him. And I'm like, that's not what I want to be seeing right now. Anyway, what happens is McCaffrey scores 39 points. Kittle puts up a fat 0 spot, and I lose the game. So now, fast forward to the playoffs, right? So this is now the playoffs. Last week was the first round of the playoffs. This is the second round of the playoffs. And lo and behold, it's the semifinals of the playoffs, and I'm playing the same person as that week. And I have going into the week, I have like a 65% chance to win. Like, my team is much better than this person's. And as I was tracking it a bit on Sunday, it looked like I was in a tough spot for a little bit, but like, coming out of Sunday, I'm looking really good, right? Like, I'm probably slightly less than I was before, but like similarly, like 30 points ahead of this person. And wouldn't you know it, but guess who's on Monday Night Football? The 49ers. And so I'm in the exact same situation going into tonight where I'll probably win. I have like a 98% chance to win. As long as George Kittle scores like less than 35 points less than Christian McCaffrey. So,
well, we can expect some live updates then throughout the podcast.
Yes. So
similar to our World Series coverage from the other episode.
Yes, exactly. So let me pull it up right now, just to give an initial update, and then try to help me remember at the end of the podcast. So I can give the update then. I can't because of... Uh-oh. Can you still hear me?
Yeah, I can.
Okay, I accidentally got rid of the video call screen. But because of how I'm recording this podcast, I can't have this open the entire time. But I'll check back in at the end. So right now, McCaffrey has 12.6 points, 38 yards, and a receiving touchdown. And Kittle has 5.8. So currently, I still have a 27-point lead and a 97% chance to win.
And Kittle's on the board, right? So he's kind of...
He has 2 receptions for 38 yards.
He's gotten started. He's kicking things off. He's not going to be blanked on the scoreboard this time. I feel like 97%?
97%.
That's pretty conservative. I'm gonna call it a sure thing. Congratulations on your win.
Wow. That's pretty bold of you, considering that I literally lost in this exact way not too long ago.
Well, that was then. This is now. So,
I hope you're
yep.
right. Okay. I am now going over to our document here, so we can begin. That's the end of my sports commentary. Any other sports stuff to say?
Literally nothing other than
All right.
yeah, great fantasy
Did we
football.
receive any emails this week?
Whoa, you'd think with all that time I would have checked. Let's see.
Nah, I'm used to you not checking. Every single episode being like, oh, I hadn't thought of that before.
So let me tell you a fun story about opening the email since I've just had to open the email. Um,
Sure.
I use Chrome for the podcast Gmail account because it's just signed into all the stuff. And I just type
Right.
mail and that auto completes to like mail.google.whatever. Except
Mm-hmm.
starting probably a couple of months ago now, it's started auto filling to a specific email for some reason. And so every
Oh,
time I
interesting.
type in mail and then just hit enter because I know it's gonna autocomplete to Gmail, whatever, it brings me to the avid listeners of the podcast may remember back in August we received an email from Shinohara Namiko, which was a purchase report PDF um, about some like PayPal payment we made that it wants us to, reply to for
Sure. This incredibly
yeah,
legitimate email.
incredibly serious stuff. And for whatever reason, that is the email that it opens for me every time now when I open Gmail. Well, when I lazily let it autofill the Gmail. Anyway, we did receive some emails. We have two emails. So let's get started. Um, the first one up is from Cephalopod Master. Subject line is I am a dumbass. He says to us, hi, Alex and Alex at Joel the Podcast. In episode 131, Alex said, this episode is now how to get Foch to vote as a joke.
What?
I I mean,
Okay, can you first? Sorry, I'm like trying. Can you first spell how to get what to vote? What did he say?
Fosh, Fosh. This might be a typo.
Do you
Did
think
we
that's a
talk about
typo?
getting fish to vote? Is there anything else this could be?
What can do you have the catalog open? What was episode
Okay, episode
131?
131 was Trampoline
This is
Hero.
so embarrassing because it was the last
Yeah, do you
episode.
remember the story we made?
Um,
It was like it just kept
Trampoline
switching
Hero.
genres.
Yeah, so it was like a
Yeah.
genre. Yes, I do
So
remember
this is how
that.
to get Foch to vote. I don't know how that
Okay,
fits
I have
in
no
that
idea what
at
that means. Let's
all.
read the rest of
Okay.
the email.
Yeah. Well, I am interested. Please double down and have an extended discussion on how you would get the fish to vote for the elected offices of the U.S. government. Explain the voting system and any physical contraptions necessary to make it happen. I have my own thoughts, but I want to hear how you would implement such election system. Dumbass, David. So it was. We should have just
Okay.
kept going. It was fish.
We should have spent 30 minutes talking about what he meant by Fosh.
I don't know if that would have been better or worse. So I obviously neither of us have any memory of discussing how to get fish to vote.
That's so funny. Well, I honestly don't think we need any
Yeah,
memory. Okay, getting fish to vote. So let's just lay out the ground rules of this hypothetical. So it seems to me that this is just like real
yeah,
fish. This is not like sentient fish or
right.
anything like that. This is just like how are we getting real fish to decide modern
Yeah,
elections? Is that
that would
your
be my
understanding?
take. Yeah,
Okay, so I mean the most obvious thing that comes to mind is to just like put them in a two-way tank, or I don't know what I'm saying by two-way tank. get like a long tank, put food on
Yeah.
either end. One side is one candidate, the other side is the other candidate, and just plop them in the middle and see where they go. What do you
So
think
that
about
was
that?
my thought exactly. And I think honestly that's just like the only thing you could get fish to reliably do is just like go in one direction or the other. But I think the interesting discussion then to be had is how do you retrieve the fish and put them into this system? And probably you need to have lots of these systems set up, all over the world or whatever, so that you can run fish through it in parallel, so that it's not just a single voting tank, right?
Well,
Or is it just
well, it
put
depends
all the
on
fish in
it depends
and
on
then
what
they'll kind of separate themselves to the sides, right? And then
it depends on what our goal is. Like, is our goal to have every single fish vote, or is it just the goal that the election is decided by fish?
okay, so he did specify that this is how you would get the fish to vote for elected offices of the US government. The US doesn't require
What I
people to
mean is
vote.
like, go ahead.
So,
Right. So like, if we get three
yeah.
fish to vote, is that enough?
I feel like
Like, clearly
I feel
no,
like
right?
I guess what I'm getting at is I
But
feel like the goal should be to like in some way embody the spirit of the US electorate and the turnout and so forth. So like I think in recent presidential elections voter turnout of like eligible Americans is like 60% or something like that. So like getting 60% of fish through this process,
that's what, like 200 million people.
it is a lot of like 60, probably a 60% of 200 million because there's a lot of like children and stuff too, right?
Right. So like, what is that then? Like 14
So
or
yeah,
140 million?
140 I think is actually really close because wasn't the like 2020
That's
election,
that's 70%.
2020 was like the highest vote totals and it was like 80 million votes to
This
70
is like an
million votes or
easily
something.
Googleable fact.
Anyway, I guess my goal is to get maybe that's a good number. It's like can we get like 150 million fish to vote? And probably most of them have to vote in one day from like polls opening to polls closing. But there's an early voting system too that you could take advantage of presumably.
Well, I feel like for early voting, well, okay, I was gonna say the fish have to have the initiative, which wouldn't make any sense. But in our current system, like you have to have
Yeah.
initiative at all to vote, which obviously doesn't apply. So okay, let's. I mean, I'm having a hard time thinking of any system that could get fish to vote, like 150 million fish to vote in any
Yeah.
amount of time.
I think
Like,
I think the best way to do it I think the best way to do it is to have some system that doesn't require you to like capture the fish in any way. You just observe the fish. But I don't think that's realistic. I think we need
here's
to
the
have like a commercial fishing
well, and
vessel bring us a boatload of fish, and then that's what we can work with.
here's a big problem:
Yeah,
voter fraud. If you are not somehow tracking the
mm,
individual fish and you're just catching
yeah.
fish indiscriminately, you could easily have a fish vote
So you
multiple
would need
times.
to, over the course of the election, every fish you caught, you would have to keep until you release them all at the end when the votes are totaled.
You could also kill each
Right.
fish after it votes.
That would tie in well with the fishing boat. So just like a step in the process of commercial fishing is just that each fish casts a vote before it's killed for whatever you do with the fished fish.
How realistic? How long? Okay, I want to each
Yeah.
of us guess this,
Okay.
and then let's look it up. How long? Like okay, how long would it take a commercial fishing boat
Yeah.
operating at its normal rate to catch
Uh-huh.
150 million fish?
My gut take is that a fishing boat go like a big boat, right? It goes out and it brings back like 10,000 fish over the course of a week. or something. Maybe that's too low. Maybe 100,000 fish? That seems too high. 50,000 fish per week, which means 20 weeks for a million fish, which means to get 150 million fish. It
That's like 75 years, right?
yeah, so
something
let's
something in
hope that
that
I'll look this
ballpark.
up while you make your guess. Let's hope I'm vastly underestimating.
Well, okay, let me think about this. I mean, you just threw a bunch of numbers out there. How many fish do I think an industrial fishing boat could catch in a day? Probably like I feel like I'm more optimistic. I feel like it's like
Okay.
10,000 per day, which is closer to your like 100,000 per week. That's a nice round number, 100,000 per week. Um, so are you
Yeah,
still
I'm
there?
just looking.
Okay. I want to make sure my audio didn't get screwed up with my earbuds. I'm still recording, which I'm
Gotcha.
checking every now and then. Um, uh, okay, so 100,000 per week, which is like 5 million per year. So it would take, in my scenario, 30 years.
That's
30
better.
years.
So the
What'd you
sources I'm
find?
finding are speaking in terms of pounds of fish rather than absolute number of fish.
Sure.
But they are giving, let's see if this article gives a specific number. I'm seeing lots of them say like thousands of pounds of fish each day or something like that. So it's kind of hard to get a specific number. Um,
Okay, but thousands of pounds per day is enough of a ballpark to know that we're like in the right
yeah.
vicinity,
So like
right?
50,000 fish is not ludicrous. You said 100,000 fish? That's not crazy. I think we were
In a week is what
oh, in a week.
100,000 in a
Yeah,
week is what
that's
I said.
generally correct, I would say.
Okay. So this so basically what we've determined is that any system that
Yeah.
requires us to catch fish in order for them to vote is not
So
going to be
here's
feasible.
maybe a better answer that I just clicked on um, from fisheries.noaa.gov. According to the latest Fisheries of the United States report, U.S. commercial fishermen landed 8.4 billion pounds in 2022. So,
Right, because they have more than one boat.
oh, yeah, of course. We were doing all of ours from the perspective of one boat, but why, right? Like we just send out more boats. Could we divert the
Okay,
entire
so okay.
fishing fleet to serve on election day? Just all of those fish.
Let's make the incredibly valid and normal assumption that a
Yeah.
fish weighs 1 pound. And so if the entire fleet can do what is it,
Yep.
8.4 billion pounds per year, so that means it'll take like 1/10 of 1/80th of the time. So let's
Yeah.
round that to 1% of the time. So 1% of a year to
It's
get
like
roughly the
three
number of fish
days.
we're talking about, which is 3 days.
So if
Okay,
we
that's
can
much more
take all
feasible.
of the world's fishing output for 3 days, we have the
What is
fish.
uh-huh. Right. So what do we? So we need each vessel to do something with the
Yes.
fish as they
And so
catch
this
them,
is
right?
where we can get the concept of now we've got fish in boats, which are kind of like voting precincts. And so each boat can do in parallel
Sure.
its own operation on the fish, whatever that may be, and then report their results in centrally. So I this is seeming logistically pretty feasible. And now we're back at the question of what do they do with the fish to determine their vote.
Well, there's one other logistical concern, which is, as we said, they have to store all
For
the
three
fish, either
days.
dead or alive,
Yeah.
after they catch them for 3 days, which I don't know how much capacity they have.
That's a good question, but if this is
So we would
like
have what?
fishing, I suppose we don't need to divert from the fishing output. We just need to assign from the fishing output certain days where those are voting fish in addition to being fished fish. So they'll do whatever they were going to do with the fish, which for commercial fishing is never put them back.
Sure, sure. Okay, so yeah, right, you're right. So we don't have to worry about what they're going to do with the fish. We just have to get them to put the fish in a tank and swim one way or the other, I guess, is
Yeah, that's
our
the
answer here.
best way of giving the fish the agency to decide. However, I don't think when they put fish on the fishing boat, do they put them in water to swim around or do they just like
I'm I'm sure they I'm sure they don't normally, but to me, like I'm imagining like you could create some
yeah.
contraption where they're dumped in a tank, they swim one way or the other, they are somehow
Uh-huh.
induced to swim in a direction, in one direction or the other. They are automatically counted, and then the water is just drained out of the tank, and then you do whatever you normally do with the fish. I feel like that's not like that's within
Sure.
the realm of
That seems fair.
possibility.
And so are you satisfied with just like put them in a tank, they'll swim one way or the other to vote?
I mean, I don't think it's ideal, but I don't really have anything better.
Yeah.
Do you have any better ideas?
I think my only concern with this system is
Okay,
that he doesn't say like this is to vote for the president. This is to vote for elected offices of the government, which is typically like many things to vote for. So presumably we could say like
sure.
all fish vote straight ticket and then like don't answer ballot initiatives or anything else.
We would be uh sure, or we could just extend the voting period to
That's
get the
true.
proper
Yeah,
number of votes.
each thing on the ballot
So
gets
each
yeah.
fish only votes for one office. Or we could have an incredibly elaborate voting system where they dropped in
Uh-huh.
a tank, they swim, and then they are dropped into another tank, and they swim and just repeat it for the number of
Yeah, that's good because I
things they
feel
have to
like the
vote
number of
for.
things you have to vote for is probably like 10 or less, right? I don't remember ever voting for so many things. Well, maybe ten's too low. Like 20 or less.
I've definitely voted for more than 10 things before. Yeah. So, I mean, probably you would
Yeah.
only need like two tanks. You could come up with a system where they're dropped from one tank into the other, vote, and then
Yeah.
dropped back into the first tank somehow. So,
Yep,
okay.
that's how
Well, I
you
think
do it.
we nailed that one. So
Next email is from
let's go on to the
Cephalopod
next email.
Master. Subject line is I am a dumbass. The email is hello, Alex and Alex at Joel the Podcast. David. That's the whole email.
Hello. All
Great.
right, done.
I'm glad this wasn't equally as long as the first one because we are now 28 minutes in and it's time to
Yeah,
begin the podcast. So,
yeah. Now I want to make one
yeah.
verbal note that I'm sure we will forget, but I mean, this is unrelated to anything. Um, I think we should make. I think we should take another episode and adjust. We don't have to do this in an episode. I don't know if that would be interesting, but adjust Joel the game because I just listened to the episode where
Uh-huh.
we remade the rules. Um, and I don't think it needs like a full change like that one was. Like I don't think we need to but I think some tweaks might be good just to for a little refresh and to correct any
Okay.
things that could be made better. What do you think
I
about that?
have not put any thought into that in a while, so that was not what I was expecting, but I'm open to it. Um that
Okay, we can discuss how and when to do that, but I just thought I'd throw that out there
Sure, if that
while
idea
we
sounds
were here.
particularly good or bad to
Um,
anybody, please send us an email. Yeah.
yeah, let us know. Um, okay, let's get into the episode. Again, from listening to old episodes, we've been inspired to do another episode of Would You Rather. Um, so we have some Would You Rather questions here. We're going to discuss which ones we would rather. Um, I would say, why don't you be kind of the driver of picking the questions? I don't think we'll get to all of the ones here, so kind of be our guide in picking the questions you think would be most interesting to
All
talk
right.
about.
In that case, I'm gonna get us.
And I say that because I just interrupt. Sorry to interrupt you. I say that because I
Sure.
curated these questions, so it's not
No,
like I'm
yeah.
just
Take
like Nathan do all the
take the
work. Like
credit
I
for the
did put in
part
some
that
work, and
you
so, yeah. So this is like the
part that you did
yeah.
there. All
All
right.
right.
I'm gonna start
Yeah.
us off with what I hope is a
Okay. Go ahead.
strong one here, which is: would you rather fight 100 second graders or a bear with shark arms?
I 100%
Of
knew that's the
course.
one
Like
you were gonna
how could
say.
we begin with any of these except that one? So first of all, let me clarify because as I was reading this, I was like, a bear with shark
Yeah.
arms? What are you talking about? Sharks don't have arms. But what you presumably mean is a bear with like a
Right.
full shark coming out of each shoulder, like attached at the tail or something. Yeah.
Sure. Okay.
Yeah.
Now let me just say a few assumptions I think we need to make. Um, and one of them is actually a question. I don't know what the assumption should be. So the first one is that the bear somehow has enough muscle to like wield these shark arms. Like in reality, I feel like
Right.
it would not be able to wield shark arms. So we're gonna like step into the realm where the
Right.
bear can wield shark arms
Yep.
effectively. With me so far. Second question is okay. I think really the first question. Second thing to consider is this shark arm thing in the water? So the sharks are alive in that way? Are the sharks magically granted the ability to survive in air? Or are the sharks dead? What is the which of
I
those
think the
three do you
most
think makes the
compelling
most sense for this
discussion will happen
question?
if we assume that the sharks are just magically able to survive out of the water. And I say that because a bear with dead sharks for
Right.
arms that it can wave around is like, dangerous, but not in a way that's interesting because they're sharks. And if you're in the water, I think you're completely
Mm-hmm.
screwed. Like no, you have no shot against a bear with shark arms in the water.
Right. Well, the bear is also screwed. I'll say that.
Yeah. So my question to add to this is,
um.
does each shark think and operate independently? Like the bear moves them, but the shark is still like a conscious shark taking its own actions, or does the bear kind of control the what the shark is doing?
So, other than open and close its mouth, what possible
It could
action could the
like
shark take? Is there anything?
uh not really, I guess. The mouth is the question, and maybe it doesn't matter so much in that case.
to Yeah, I guess my opinion is it's it bites you when it's near you. So whether that's the bear doing that or
Sure,
the shark doing that,
sure. Okay.
it's dangerous. Okay, is the point of the question. Um, so so that is that. Now, I'm guessing there's no weapons either on my part or on the
I
second
would
grader's
guess
part, right?
not. I mean, without it specified, I'm imagining you just like find yourself in an arena with 100 second graders, and probably they're upset with you, right? Like they want to fight. Yeah.
Right. They are aiming to kill me. Right. Okay. Um. Wow. All right. So I guess now that we've clarified all of the details of this incredible scenario, um, I'm kind of thinking that a bear with shark arms, first off, wouldn't be that much more dangerous than a normal bear. Um, like I guess the shark can like bite me, which is more dangerous than the claws of the bear. But
Yeah.
either way, getting hit with those is gonna suck. So it's kind of be game over either
Yeah,
way,
I kind of think
honestly.
actually that in both
Um,
of these situations you are like handily overpowered. And so it's a matter of how do you want to die?
yeah, I agree with you in general.
Yeah.
Which one do I think you have a better chance of winning? I think you have a better chance of beating one bear just because it's one of them. Like, maybe there's some shenanigan you can do where you climb on the bear's back and choke it out or something. Like, I think for the second graders, you just have
Yeah.
no shot. Like, you're just gonna get tired out and overpowered no matter what you do. Like, there's no fluke that's gonna save you on that one. Whereas with the bear, like, even if you have only a
Sure.
small chance,
That's
you do at
interesting
least have
because my
some
initial
chance.
thought was like I agree with you. I don't think I'm trying to like disagree with you now, but my initial thought was you probably have more of a chance with the second graders because any individual second grader you can take no problem. And so if you can manage to find a way to like split them up, take them on in smaller groups, even smaller groups, you really have to go like one on one, maybe one on two, worst case.
I just think that I just think that even if you were able to fight them, even if you, and I don't think you even would be able to fight them one on one, but even if you could fight them one on one, you would still lose because by the 40th
Yeah.
second grader you had to kill, the 60th second grader, you're injured at this point. Like there's no way you're gonna
It's
be able to
kind of
get
like,
through
do you
100
want
before they
a
get through you.
5% chance to have one shot, or do you want like a 80% chance, but you have to do that 100 times in a row? Yeah.
Exactly. Yes, and I just think
Yeah.
that's less likely. Now, now that and I will say this wasn't like in the spirit of the question, but also I would definitely have a lot more like personal issue killing 100 second graders than killing a bear
That's
with
that's really
shark
funny because
arms.
the joke that I was just thinking to make is now I would personally enjoy fighting 100 second graders a lot more. But no, I kind of like every individual point of it makes it seem like fighting the shark with bare arms is probably the smarter choice. I don't there's just something that's making me think like that would just be no, that's probably just the right answer. I think
All
we
right,
I think we would
we
both
have come to a
rather fight the
decision.
shark arm
Bear
bear.
with shark arms.
Yep.
Yeah. All right, what should we do? What should we look at next?
Cool. Let's take a look at a slightly different vibe here. Would you rather accidentally send all your texts in rhyming couplets for a year or have to start every single conversation with a dramatic yawn?
Hmm.
How dramatic are we talking?
Uh, good question. This is my mind, and so, it's unfortunate that listeners can't see me for this. Like you got it with
Oh yeah,
the
the like
arms
the
and everything.
full
Yeah, yeah.
full arm
Full
stretch
arm
top to
extension.
bottom.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes when I yawn, if there's like music playing, I'll yawn like in tune with that. So let's just toss that in as another
Okay,
factor.
so let's talk about each of these individually first. Um,
Yeah, as is
so
tradition.
rhyming couplets,
Yeah.
and on the face of it, it doesn't seem actually that bad. Although I guess the challenge is coming up with rhyming couplets for what you want to say. Yeah, that's definitely the bad part
Yeah.
about this. At first, I was thinking like, it's kind of fun to text in rhyming couplets, um, and you would run into trouble in certain situations where people got annoyed by it, I guess, or if there were people who like,
Yeah.
I don't do this, but I know some people like have relationships, and I don't mean like romantic specifically, just have relationships via text where like they'll just like text back and forth with people
Yeah.
as like a conversation. I don't really do that as much. Um, but in that scenario, it would
Right.
suck. Um, now
Sure.
I wonder if you could. Okay, those are my initial thoughts. What are your initial thoughts on the texting one?
So it's interesting with the texting one. I think almost the most important part of this is that it says you
Oh,
accidentally send
I
all
didn't
your
even
texts
notice
in
that.
rhyming couplets. So like, here's the scenario, right? Like if it wasn't accidental, you would just when you were texting someone, if they ever said like, "Hey, are you like rhyming on purpose?" You'd be like, "Yeah, it's just this weird thing or whatever, like whatever explanation you wanted to have." But if you were like accidentally doing it, you'd just be like, there's no reason that I'm doing this, right? There's no like I'm not being compelled to do it. I just like can't. I'm accidentally doing it whether I
Right.
wanted to or not, which feels like you can't just like get out of it by explaining it to the person is basically what I'm getting at
How
here.
freaked out would you be if you noticed that every single text you sent was a rhyming couplet and it was unintentional?
I That's really hard to say because I think that doing that as a concept is really funny.
Uh
Like
huh.
that's a good bit. And I think the concern would come in if I was like if I had noticed it and then I was trying not to do it, but then I realized that I had
Right. You
just done
couldn't
it
not do it.
anyway. Like that I think could be kind of psychologically that could do some make
The
me kind of
accidentally part
concerned.
really is a big twist because the other part of it is like, how good do you have to be at rhyming to accidentally rhyme every single text? Like,
Yeah. And here's the other thing, like I would say a non-insignificant amount of the texts that I send are like
right.
one word. So do we just assume that all of those are just like stretch out for no reason?
Well, it wouldn't be for no reason. There would be a reason. Like in this magical scenario, to me, like you always have in your mind a reason for writing what you do, and then it just happens to rhyme. So
Yeah,
it's not like,
sure.
yeah,
Okay.
it's sort of like, yeah, it's a weird scenario because obviously it precludes you from texting certain things. In fact, many things. But somehow in this scenario,
Yeah.
you never
Almost all
would write most
things.
of those things. It's not like you try to write those things and you can't. You just never would.
Yeah. So okay, here's my conclusion on this. I think that thing that you just said is like the only negative, the only downside to accidentally sending all my texts and rhyming couplets. And so I would probably do that.
I have to disagree with you in that I feel like it would annoy people after a while.
You think so?
Um, well, I don't know. It depends on. I would annoy some people, that's for sure. Um,
I I also have texted about some serious
yes,
subjects
that's
in the
true.
past year.
And the other thing
So,
is, even if you might, like in this magical scenario, you might never say any of the things that aren't rhyming couplets. Someone might
yeah.
want you to say those things, or you might need to say those things, and
Mm,
now you don't because you can't. Even though it's not, you don't
right.
know it's because you can't. Like you're not trying to do it. You just are just unable to even try to do that. Um,
Yeah.
so that
Yeah.
also is a problem. Now I feel like you could
Yeah.
say most things in rhyming couplets, so it's not like I think
You could
it's not
find a
like I think there's
way,
like a
yeah.
large number of things you would have a difficult time saying. Um, but yeah, there's definitely I do think there are some drawbacks. Okay,
Yeah.
so let's talk about the yawn.
Yeah. I despite talking about drawbacks of the texting, I think the huge drawback to the yawn is meetings at work.
Hmm.
That is like a hugely Now, I say that and then realize like does it count as a text if I'm sending like a Teams message to somebody at work?
I feel like the spirit of the well, I mean, objectively, no, right? A Teams message is different from a text,
Sure.
but you could argue that the spirit of the question would include that. What do you think?
Yeah. I think it makes it more interesting. There's more to decide because otherwise I'm gonna say however weird it would be to text people in rhyming couplets for a year, like 95+% of my texts are to close family and
Hmm.
friends, right? So like regardless of what they thought, it wouldn't it wouldn't be that bad in the end.
Yeah, messaging
Whereas
technical details in rhyming couplets sounds like a challenge.
yeah.
Um, so let me ask you this just to clarify. I think I know the answer, but you would not be able to pass off the dramatic yawn as like a yawn, an actual yawn, right? Like people would know this is like a
You were not
dramatized
compelled to
fake
yawn like
yawn.
that. You were doing that as fake as you could, as big as you could. Yeah, I think that's true.
Now, what do you think the effect would be if you started off every conversation with a normal yawn, and now you're yawning?
I think that would. I know we're talking about it too much. I think that would not be that bad.
Right. So it's just the
I think if
fact
you
it's
just
just the fact that
yawned,
they
that's
think you're
fine most
it's
of the
just the fact
time.
that they think you're intentionally, I guess, making a statement or something. I mean,
Yeah,
at best, people are just gonna be like, okay, I guess like he's like quote unquote bragging about how tired he is. Um,
yeah,
and worst case, people are gonna think you're being outright intentionally rude to them. Stop yawning.
yes.
Um,
I can't. uh,
okay, so I think I agree with you that the texting will be better if it just includes texts. And I think that's partially related to how and whom we personally text. Um,
yeah.
Now, if we include all sorts of text-related communication, um, what what's your thought?
I think
Text
if
text
we include
not
all
all text-based communication. What I mean is all texting-like communication. That's what I mean.
right, right, right. All texting like communication, I think, starts to swing me toward the yawn because you could conceivably, even if people didn't believe you or whatever, even if people were still annoyed at you, you could still be like, "Oh, I'm so sorry. Like I haven't been able to sleep the past couple of nights, and
Yes,
whatever, right? Like you could say something to make
to
it,
mitigate it.
kind of right.
Yeah,
Whereas if you're accidentally rhyming and you try and explain why you're accidentally rhyming within using an accidental rhyme and they're annoyed about it already, that's you're never going to be able to get out of that.
that actually makes me reconsider the yawning just even with the original context. Like
Yeah.
how like if you first of all you're doing it every time, so like your coworkers are going to get used to it. Um and you can
Yeah.
explain it or say anything you want after you do it. So, I wonder if that makes it not as bad.
Maybe. I guess it's would you rather do a weird thing in person every time you talk to someone or do a weird thing over text message every time you
Yeah,
talk to someone?
I think that I
And if it's broken down that way, I think I lean text
I think I
personally.
lean text too just because I talk to people in person so much more than texting. So,
Yeah.
okay, good question.
Okay. Um we analyzed a lot here. I think let's go to this next one that hopefully won't need as much analysis. Would you rather be 3 feet shorter or taller?
It's really interesting you say that. That probably doesn't need more analysis because I feel like it does need a lot of analysis. Well, not a lot, but it does need some analysis. Now, the good news is it doesn't need clarification. Like that is a pretty straightforward
Yeah.
scenario. So the question is, would
Yep.
I rather be like toddler, not toddler sized, but like small child sized, or would I rather be like Like
The
I
tallest person in
the
the
tallest
world.
person in the world by far.
Yeah.
What do you, I hmm I I mean my initial gut is taller, just because I feel like being that short is going to be a huge hindrance for a lot of things. Obviously, being tall is going to be a hindrance for things, but I feel like it's less. What do you think? What's your initial thought?
I think my immediate concern with being so tall is that like you could never ride in an airplane. You would have a lot of trouble in like cars,
I mean, if you're two and a
like
half
normal
feet tall, you
size
can't drive a
chairs
car
and
either.
things. No, that's true, but you can fit, right? Like you're not just uncomfortable in spaces made for normal size
Uh
people.
huh. I feel like you could get a car that you could comfortably fit in. Like you could buy a custom car or find a certain car that you could comfortably fit in. And I do 90 or more percent of the time that I spend in a car is in my own car. Um,
Yeah,
and in situations where I'm riding in others' cars, many times I could just take my own car. Uh,
sure.
so that part I feel like could be okay.
I I don't necessarily disagree, but I think my point is more so like there are few, if any, accommodations made for people 3 foot taller than me because there are hardly any of them. There are tons of accommodations made for people 3 foot shorter than me because there's millions of them. They're just children.
Sure.
So, like, maybe there aren't cars that are fitted to be able to be driven by somebody who's, you know, not quite 3 feet tall, but in like in spaces in like my apartment, I wouldn't have trouble anywhere other than like reaching stuff, and I could just have a stool or whatever. Whereas if I was almost 9 feet tall, I'd be like ducking through doorways, nearly hitting my head on the ceiling. I don't know. I just feel like our spaces, like as in humanity's spaces, better accommodate people 3 feet shorter rather than taller.
I think you're generally right about that point. I agree with you there. What I wonder is like how, like what, like okay, so like my apartment here, I could probably stand up straight if I was 3 feet taller still, right? I mean, it's probably at least 9 feet. Um, or the sailboat that I'm on is what I mean. Um, but
You'd hit your head on the mast.
yeah. So like
That might be
what?
true
So like
regardless, though.
if that's true, then like what percentage of like yes, I would have to duck through the doorway. But like what percentage of spaces where I'm just there are going to be a problem?
Yeah,
And I feel like not that many. Like I feel like doorways are the main problem.
yeah.
And I feel
So
like go ahead.
as you're kind of saying this, here's a point that I do have in favor of taller, right? Because I feel like I've advocated for shorter so far. If you are 3 feet taller or shorter as like an adult person, that's pretty significant.
Yes.
But I think there are benefits potentially to being taller, whereas I don't know that there's a lot of benefit to being shorter.
What are the
There's
benefits to
just
being
like a lack of drawbacks. If you were that tall, you could potentially be pretty good at basketball. That's the only benefit I'm thinking of, and I'm not sold on it because really, really tall people, you've gone past the balance of like athletic and tall to just tall, and you can't be like physically capable anymore. But if there's a shot at being, paid millions of dollars to play basketball as a tall person, might have to consider that. Hmm. Sure. 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 I It's interesting because there are tall people, like people as tall as NBA players who aren't NBA players. That sounds really stupid, but I mean, just like there are people out there who are 7 feet tall. Yes, there's the phrase. So, would being nearly 9 feet tall be enough of an offset to just like, could I, drive over to Milwaukee and be like, hey guys, sign me to a, 10-day contract or whatever they do? Or like, yeah, put me in the G League, see if I can make it. Yeah, yeah. You'd be an incredibly one-dimensional player, right? But is that one dimension good enough despite each of our complete lack of basketball skill? Answer's probably no. Right. Yeah. The drawbacks of being that short in my mind are basically the things that are designed for adults, like the physical objects, kind of assume an average person's size. And that's things like we've been talking about, like cars and rooms, and but also things like clothes, right? You wouldn't be able to find adult clothes easily in either scenario, I suppose. That's maybe not that big a deal. Yeah. 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 I feel like there are also like more social downsides to being short than there are to being tall. Like each of them are equally inconvenient, but yeah. Yeah. Uh-huh. Uh-oh. Probably doesn't matter. We were just rambling. You didn't fill up your space, did you?
Okay, it's letting me record again.
Okay.
Um, don't know what's gonna happen in there. Whether the whole thing's gonna cut, you're just gonna hear Nathan, but my audio recording stopped. So now it's back. Um, okay. Anyway, we just got to the point where we were like, let's just make a decision on the short versus tall thing. I'm thinking I would rather be shorter. I think shorter.
I started out pretty strong in the shorter camp, I think, but sort of talked myself in, maybe irrationally, to taller. So I'm gonna stick with that. And yeah, it's never gonna happen, so it doesn't matter.
What's the total time in our recording now?
I just hit about an hour, like an hour seven
All right, why don't
seconds.
we? You want to do one or why don't we do one more? Pick the best one, and we'll wrap it up here.
Okay, let's do this first one here. Would you rather have a personal theme song that plays every time you enter a room and you can't choose it, or be followed by a dramatic spotlight that only illuminates you, even in broad daylight? So,
It's funny that you thought this was the best one because I thought this was one of the dumber ones that I picked.
I guess I just have some interesting questions to ask about this one, and maybe that'll be
Sure.
interesting, maybe not. My first question, what do you mean you can't choose it? Is it just like a random song? Is it always the same random song, or is it just a different random song?
Right. So my take on it is the same song every time.
Yeah.
It is not random per se.
Uh-huh.
It is somehow cosmically, I don't know,
Deeply and
like
personally tied to me whether I like it or not.
it's somehow tied to you. It's not just like a random song,
Sure.
but you don't get to choose it.
Sure. Now I just want to know what that song would be for me. Is there what do you think the criteria would be? Is this something that we could figure out in any way?
To me, it's just a vibe thing. It's like what song matches your vibe.
Is it anything to do with the music that I listen to, or is it purely just like me as a
It's not
person, this is the
it's not
song?
related to the music. It's not related to the music you listen to. Although just by saying vibe just now, that raises the question of how does it not change? Maybe it can change over time
Yeah.
as you change.
Wow. That's pretty deep.
What, that people change? I never thought about it that way.
Yeah, that's crazy. My song can change.
Okay. Um,
So,
man's never seen a movie before.
all right. I do like this concept, and I'm curious. Um, I'm curious to think about that more. A dramatic spotlight that only illuminates you even in broad daylight. Does that just mean that it's brighter than the ambient light to the point where you can notice there's a spotlight on you?
That must be what it means.
Okay. So,
Um, to me, I would say the biggest downside of the spotlight is just like, have you ever been in a spotlight before?
it's really hot.
It's hot, and also if the other area around you is significantly darker, you can't see anything, or it's much more difficult to see things.
Yeah, that is a
Um, now, yeah, let's briefly just talk about. I don't know how productive of a conversation this is. Being illuminated by the spotlight in broad daylight
yeah.
means the light has to be brighter than the sun by a significant amount.
Yeah.
Um,
Would that just kill you?
would that, yeah, kill and or injure you in any way?
I think you can noticeably. Is this true? I'm trying to think if I've ever just like shined a flashlight or something on something in the daylight to like actual sunlight to make it brighter. I know I've shined the light on things during the day, but like indoors, right, where it's not direct sun.
Okay, this is an extremely scientific test that you can do right now.
Yeah.
Take out your phone, turn on the flashlight. Okay, shine it on your desk. How noticeable is it?
It's very noticeable. I can tell where the flashlight is and where it's not.
Okay.
I think that becomes
Uh,
not true about about this far away. That's like 2 feet.
Right. Now, presumably a spotlight's going to be much further than 2 feet from you, right?
Yes.
So it would have to be pretty like that. This example is a flashlight, not in daylight, just in the other lights in your house.
Yeah.
So it's going to have to be much brighter than that.
Yep.
Um, yeah, I just feel like that's going to be a huge problem. Like driving with a
Ooh.
spotlight in your eyes.
I already yeah, that would be mass that would be I think that would be just incredibly disruptive to your everyday life, if not dangerous in many situations.
Well, I'll also say the theme song would also be disruptive to your life, but probably less dangerous.
Okay. How does it play? Does it just like ambient sound everyone in the
Yeah, to
room
me,
can
just it's just sound that comes from nowhere that everyone can hear.
yeah.
Um, Obviously, there's nothing in here about how loud it is, um, or anything like that.
I would imagine
Which
it's like just sitcom background music level.
so like speech can easily be heard above it.
Yeah, like I don't think it would drown out noise, but it would be clearly noticeable. It wouldn't just be like a faint thing.
In my opinion, then that's just annoying. Like that's the worst that it gets.
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't think it gets any worse than annoying. So I think we definitely got to choose the theme song here.
I think so. Plus, then I would get to know what my theme song is, and that's now a deeply held uh,
and and
self-image thing for me.
and if it ever changed, you would like be like, "Whoa!" Like that would
Whoa.
be like a way for you to. It would be a way for you to notice your own personal change.
Yeah, yeah, my growth over time reflected by the song that I hear. Do you think if
Why
you
is It's
heard
Raining Men just playing everywhere now?
All right, last question. This wouldn't change my answer at all. I'm just curious what your relationship is with music. Do you think you would get annoyed hearing the same, assuming change is rare, hearing the same theme song every time you went from like one room to another room? Because that happens pretty
Yes, I
frequently,
would.
presumably.
I would. Correct. I would get so annoyed.
Yeah,
Yes, I definitely think it's actually a large. It's a large downside
yeah,
to hear the same song. Now, maybe it's possible you might be like, okay, here's why I say that. I mean, partially depends on the song, and some songs are going to be more annoying than others.
yeah.
But there's a particular commercial that comes on when I watch The Office
Hmm.
like all the time, and it has and I get annoyed by it. It's like, and that happens, like I don't know, 3 times an hour. So
Right.
like, um,
Yeah, that's a good point. I was thinking of music as being generally positive, but I don't know if this is the commercial you're talking about at all, but if it's the you can
it's
Venmo
not.
this, you can Venmo
It's
that,
not.
no, no, I hate that. That is the worst commercial I've ever heard. And
The commercial I'm talking about is a commercial for eczema medication, which I don't have eczema, so maybe if I
nice.
say that into my phone, it'll stop getting the commercial.
I
I
do
don't
not
have
have
eczema.
eczema.
Um, or maybe just the fact that I said eczema so many times means
Yeah.
it's gonna just use that
I
now.
really hope this
Um,
episode is just my side of the audio and some brave person out there has listened to an hour and 8 minutes of podcast
Hour and 8 minutes of
only for me to clip the microphone by shouting directly into it that I don't have eczema.
um.
Good news is that's the title of the
So
podcast now. Don't have to think about that one anymore.
what? I don't have eczema.
Yep.
Yeah. Um.
Oh no, how do you
All
spell
right.
eczema?
It's E. I can tell you exactly how to spell it. It is Eczema.
Perfect. Put an X in there and I didn't know where to go next. Cool. Well,
um.
I think we should make it official that we're both going music despite the Pretty significant
Yeah.
downside.
Yeah, that's a sneaky one that sucks.
Yeah. But the spotlight is
Uh,
potentially extremely hazardous in certain scenarios.
yeah,
So,
correct. All
well,
right. We're at the end of the episode here, so I'm going to give an update on my fantasy team.
perfect.
I'm just stalling here for a minute while it loads.
Yeah. I mean, I can go ahead and say already that you continue to be in the lead. No need to even check. Um, but for the
Okay, so
official update,
the game is 10:58 left in the third, so it's a little past the halfway point. Christian McCaffrey has 18.6 points, 69 with it, which is 69 yards in the receiving touchdown.
nice.
Kittle is now up to 24.5 points, 7 receptions, 115 yards, and a touchdown.
So he's
Uh, so I,
outscoring.
yes, so I'm now ahead by 44, and I have a 99% chance to win.
It's locked up.
You were right in
I'm a
calling it
genius.
earlier.
I'm the best podcaster to ever live.
We maybe
Tied with you. Tied with you, of course.
Okay, tie. Good, that's fine. All right. Thanks for listening, everybody. Appreciate it. Let us know your thoughts on another Would You Rather episode, whether you liked it, did not like it. Other than that, we'll talk to you next week. I'm Alex.
I'm Alex.
And this has been
Joel.